And Kawhi Leonard right now has a decision to make. The decision is whether he wants to stay or leave with the Los Angeles Clippers. He has a $36 million option. And right now, let me just name you the free agents the Clippers have. Nicholas Batum, Reggie Jackson, DeMarcus Cousins. Reggie Jackson was huge in this playoff run. Not bringing him back would be a huge slap in the face after what he's done. Nicholas Batum was also very huge. They got him on a minimum deal. And Serge Ibaka also has a player option. So Kawhi Leonard could be returning to a team that is not going to have Batum, Jackson, or Ibaka next season. But the players guaranteed to be on the roster are Paul George, Marcus Morris, Beverly, Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, Zubac, and Rajon Rondo. Some potential destinations for Kawhi are Miami. They have 3 big free agents, Oladipo, Kendrick Nunn, and Robinson. And they have 2 team options. Goran Dragic for $19 million and Iguodala for $15 million. And if they don't pick those up, that would free up $34 million in cap space. And they could make a run at Kawhi Leonard, especially if they don't re-sign some of their big free agents. And you also got Dallas as a potential suitor. They could get him as well. And New York, the Knicks. But if the Knicks were to get him, they would have a big 3 of Randall, RJ, and Kawhi. Maybe Dame is there if they do end up trading for Dame. The Mavs would have Kawhi, Luka, and KP. The Clippers would have Kawhi, PG, and maybe Kyle Lowry goes and joins them. We don't know. But the Heat's big 3 would be Kawhi, Butler, and Bam, which sounds like the best big 3 out of all of them. If I'm Kawhi Leonard, I'm going to Miami. I'm teaming up with Jimmy Butler. I'm forming the best two-way duo in the NBA. And with Bam Adebayo's versatility, being a center, being able to guard all 5 positions, I think that would be a defensive nightmare for any teams. Kawhi would pick up the offense that Miami lacked last season. And I think this just sounds like a great fit for Kawhi, going to Miami and teaming up with Jimmy Butler.
You know, it's tough because, like you said, like naming those guys on that free agent, I hope, is Reggie on bird rights?
Reggie's free agent.
Oh, okay. So I hope they bring Reggie back. You know, that would be, I think, I'm pretty confident Batum will probably come back. But like you said, and Serge has a player option, he'll probably accept that. It's tough, you know, this run for the Clippers, you know, watching his team win without him, PG stepping up and getting back to that PG-13 form, Reggie Jackson performing. You know, it's really tough to see. I think, like you said, Miami, he can go to Miami and create a 3-way defensive tandem that would probably be the best defensive trio in the league, and it would be pretty incredible. But I think, you know, just going off what we've seen, we saw Miami get trampled by Milwaukee. Trampled. You saw Jimmy Butler get completely locked up in that series, and then we saw Brooklyn get formed. If I'm Kawhi, I'm thinking, why go out there and try to compete with that big 3 of Brooklyn if I just seen Jimmy Butler get locked up and his offense still being limited at the age he's at. Bam obviously has room to grow. Tyler Herro has room to grow. I agree, but I just think looking at that, I don't think that's a good landing spot. New York, I would need another star. They're a playoff team, but I would need another star to come with me to even compete.
Damn.
Yeah, to even compete with
That'd be crazy.
Brooklyn. You know, they had to compete with Brooklyn. So unless I'm getting Dame on the phone and he's already made the commitment to get the trade, I don't see myself going to New York. Now, Dallas is a tricky one because you can form a trio of you, Luka, and Porzingis, and you just seen Luka. It took me to go Almighty God for us to stop him.
Yeah, for real.
So that's a good landing spot too. You know, you and Luka. I don't know how their games would like coexist, but 2 great players, you make it work. It always tends to work regardless. And then you got LA. You know, you could stay home, play with the guys you just played. You just seen PG finally go back to his form, the guy you've been waiting to go before you even went down. You both were having 30-point back-to-back games. You know, it was a good thing to see. Marcus Morris is still there. You still got Zubac. Kennard has room to grow. Terrence Mann is growing into his own. I don't know, like, because it's a tricky situation. I think Dallas and the Clippers would be the best landing spots. I think just because of what we've seen and what we've seen this playoff run. I think New York would only be a spot if you're bringing another star there, and I think Miami is a good spot, but you don't want to be out there battling. You would rather see Brooklyn in the finals than early in the second round or in the first round or in the third round. I think you'd rather see Brooklyn in the finals because they're going to be there. So I think probably Dallas and the Clippers would be my 2 spots for the Kawhi.
So do you think he's going to leave?
I don't know. It's weird because he's like, with Kawhi, you really don't know. You did all this to bring PG to there. You guys had a shit show first season. You guys played terrible. You blew a 3-1 lead. Second year, you guys make your first WCF in franchise history. So I thought that was a good run, but I really don't know if he stays.
I just think it's unfortunate that the Clippers, in their first year, which I think was their best team, had to go through the bubble, because I think the bubble really messed up Paul George's mental state. He played bad because of it, and I think a lot of players were kind of hindered by that bubble. So who knows what they would have done outside of the bubble, but I'll say this. I was reading an article on Kawhi Leonard to the Heat, and it was this writer, I forgot from what website, but he just said something so ridiculous that I had to share it right now because I just remembered. He was like, Kawhi Leonard wouldn't be the best fit in Miami because we run a motion offense, and Kawhi Leonard is more of an ISO scorer, and it wouldn't fit. I think the better options would be getting Otto Porter because he shoots 40% from three, and Tony Snell.
So wait, he ended it with Otto Porter?
He literally put free agents, and he was like, these are like better possible free agents we can get. And it was like the first name was Otto Porter.
And that got published?
Yeah. And I was like, what?
You thought you was going to see somebody like a big name.
For me, I think even though Miami runs an motion offense, I think
it work.
Kawhi Leonard, he's just a superstar. He's going to make it work wherever he goes. I really do think Miami's the best spot for him. You talk about Brooklyn's big three, KD, Harden, and Kyrie versus Bam, Kawhi, and Jimmy Butler. I do think that's pretty even. I do think Kawhi. This is why I say that.
Let me listen. Let me see.
I think Kawhi guarding whoever he wants to guard, whether it's KD or Kyrie or Harden, is going to do a great job. Jimmy Butler, we know, is a terrific defender. Bam Adebayo probably would be the matchup on KD because he has more length. I also do think that because of what I've seen from James Harden in the past in the playoffs, let's just call a spade a spade. In the playoffs, Miami could have an advantage because we don't know what Harden is going to be in the playoffs.
He's saying this.
That's why they can have an advantage, because James Harden is very wishy-washy.
But you don't think playing with KD and Kyrie is going to take the load off that?
I think playing with KD and Kyrie, Harden is going to not take as many shots that he takes, which means that he's going to be more efficient on the lesser shots he takes. And we saw him.
Though.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we saw him in Game 7 get a bunch of open three-point looks, miss those shots. He was hurt, but he missed a lot of open looks.
We did see him in Boston have a pretty good series before he went down.
Yeah, that's true. But he needed to step up against Milwaukee.
A healthy Harden, I feel like he makes at least 3 of those shots.
The only reason I'm kind of iffy on that is because of what we just seen from Jimmy Butler.
We can say that all we want, but we've seen players play on injuries. We've seen Curry play on an MCL in the finals.
But he didn't play well.
He played better than what Harden played like.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And plus, Curry is literally moving around all the time.
Yep.
We've seen Isaiah Thomas play on a broken ankle.
That was crazy.
We've seen players play hurt. LeBron through his cramps. We've seen players
play through a torn ACL. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
We've seen players play through injuries, tough injuries, and still perform. I didn't like that Harden, after he played bad, now is the time he wants to tell the world that he had a grade 2 hamstring, to try to ease the narrative on him. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I played bad, but I was basically playing on a grade 2 hamstring. You didn't say that before you played. You said you were good to go. So, we can play that game all we want, that if he was healthy, he would make 3 of those shots. But we've also seen him healthy versus Golden State Game 7, go for 2-11 from the 3-point line.
Right.
So we can't really use that argument, So I think Harden, I hope he does get a championship, but he has definitely made me lose more faith in him as the year's gone on. And I think this Game 7 versus the Bucks was one of the icings on the cake.
But do you think Miami would have enough offense? Because I think to beat Brooklyn, you have to maintain your
Tyler
offensive.
Herro, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi. I mean, I think Jimmy's 20+. Kawhi's 30. Like, really, he's 30 a night. Bam Adebayo, I think, gets better.
But doesn't Bam right now average what?
Like 19.
Okay, there you go.
Like that.
Okay.
Tyler Herro, I think, is 15 a game.
Right.
I think it's a must to bring back Duncan Robinson. That's pretty much it, though, because you're going to lose none.
Iguodala has to go.
He's not offense, though. But
I'm just saying,
yeah,
like, as
you lose
players.
Nunn, you lose
Ariza's
Dragic,
gone.
Ariza, yeah. I mean, I think they'll make up for it, especially they'll get minimum free agents. I mean, the Clippers this past season, Batum, Reggie Jackson, all on minimum deals. So you can get talent in the buyout market and by getting those veteran guys in there. So I think that wouldn't be that big of a problem. I think he only stays in LA if they get Kyle Lowry or get somebody of equal skill set to come play in LA because their problem is not having a point guard.
What they thought they were getting in Rondo, you
Yeah.
want them to actually get in Kyle Lowry.
Because Paul George in this playoff run played the point most of the time,
Yep.
and Reggie Jackson was just that guy that was coming in and scoring.
Mhm.
I don't think that 3-man dynamic can work with Kawhi there because Kawhi is basically going to fill in the role Jackson did in terms of just being a scorer. And Reggie Jackson is going to be relegated to a spot-up shooter again, and I don't think that's going to work. So they have to bring another guy in with Kawhi to come back. But maybe Kawhi is sticking true to his values and just says, I want to be home. And that's why he stays in L.A.
So you think he is going to stay or you think he's gone?
I think he's gone.
And
Okay.
you're saying Miami.
Miami.
Yes.
Okay.